Okay, this video we're going to go over solving systems of equations by substitution. Remember when you're solving, I'll go back and review for a sec. When we're solving systems of equations, we have three types of solutions. When two lines intersect, if they intersect at one spot, there is one solution. That's going to be the ordered pair where x and y is. The other type that we have is when two lines are parallel and they never touch. That means that there is no solution. And then other times, you're going to see only one line on your graph. When you only see one line, it doesn't mean that there's only one, there's not another one there. It means that both of them are lying on top of each other. So when you see something like that, it's going to be infinitely many solutions. Now, what we did before by the solving by graphing was we went and we would just plot the y-intercept and do the slope, and we would graph our lines, and then we'd find where they intersect. We would also be able to check to make sure that we graphed it correctly by looking in a table to find where our solution was. Remember, it was where y1 and y2 are the same, and you would use the x number and the y number. The other ways we did that after we put them into y1 and y2 was we pressed second, trace, 5 for the intersection, and made them graph, but then we pressed enter 3 times. Enter. There we go. Okay, that's the way that we learned how to do it first. Now this time, let me ask this. Before we could put them in the calculator, what did my equations have to look like? They both had to be in y=, form, in slope-intercept form, right? Because for us to graph, for us to be able to graph, we would have to have it in y= to have our y-intercept and our slope. Because when we had equations like this, before we could graph it, we had to move it around to this. Okay? So to graph, hint, to graph, both of your equations need to be in slope-intercept form. Okay, that's going to be different when we come to substitution, because you're going to have, when we solve by substitution, only one of them will be in y= form. Okay? One is in standard form, or it doesn't have to just be in standard form, but one of them is in y= or x= form, and that's when we're going to use substitution. All right, don't worry, we'll come back and be able to explain what all that means. Let's start here. This says, evaluate the following expressions given the x value. Okay, so first off, this is an expression because there's not an equal to sign. Now, it says when x is 3. So we're going to take this 3 and we're going to substitute it in here for x. So we're going to take 3 times x. Instead of x, I'm going to put 3 in there, and then minus 5. Well, 3 times 3 is 9. 9 minus 5, my answer is 4. That's what the expression means when x is 3. What about this next one? It says when x is -8, what's the expression to evaluate it? So I'm going to take this, I'm going to put -8 in here for x. I get -2 times, instead of x, I'm going to take x out, I'm going to substitute -8 in, plus 7. -2 times -8 is positive 16. 16 plus 7, 23. Number 3. What about when x is 2? Well, there we go. Take this 2. We need to put it in wherever there's an x. See, there's an x here, and there's also an x right here. Okay, so I wrote kind of crazy here. All right. So I'm going to put the 2 in for x right here. So I have 2. And then let's write minus 3 minus 4 times x. X is 2. And plus 1. So now, order of operations, we need to multiply these two together. So I'm going to have 2 minus 3. Well, negative 4 times 2 is negative 8 plus 1. Now, you can, if you want, or if you wanted to, you could just put that all in the calculator, press enter, and see what it says. Right here, let's see, let me move this down just a little bit. Okay, so right here I have, put those two together, I have negative 1 minus 8 plus 1. Put the next ones together, negative 9 plus 1, and my answer would be negative 8. That's kind of a long way to get negative 8 if you were doing it by hand, but the other thing, like I said, you could go and take this all right here, go in your calculator, go in your home screen, which is second quit from where I'm at, okay? And just type in there 2 minus 3, 2 minus 3 minus 4, parentheses, 2 plus 1, and press enter to get negative 8. You could just do that too. All right, let's go and catch up here. All right, now it says in the equation, what is the value of y when x is 8? Okay, so write this down. Write 2x plus 4y equals negative 12. Okay, so I have 2x plus 4y equals negative 12. When x is 8, so let's take 8 and put it in here for x. I'm going to substitute it in. So I have 2 times x. Well, instead of x, what am I putting in there? I should be putting in there the 8 plus 4y equals negative 12. Well, what is 2 times 8? 16 plus 4y equals negative 12. Now solve for y from here. Let's find out what y is. So I will subtract 16 from each side. I get 4y equals negative 28. Divide by 4. Y equals, what is that, negative 7? There's your answer. Here's the next one. Write this down. Write negative x plus 3y equals negative 9. If some of the boards and markers aren't working, you can always do this on paper. That's up to you. Now this says when y is 4. So you'll take this, and I will substitute it in here for y. So I have negative x plus 3 times y. Well, what did we say y was? Y is 4 equals negative 9. Okay, we'll multiply these two together. Negative x plus 12 equals negative 9. What do I need to do to solve for x? Subtract 12 from each side. Negative x equals negative 21. Divide by negative 1. X equals 21. Okay. Now we're not solving systems by substitution yet. We're just practicing substituting in a number and getting our answer. Oh my. Okay, well look at this one. Don't write this down on the board. I just want you to follow along with what's going on. This says apples plus oranges equals 9. Okay? What if the oranges are the same as 2 apples? You're like, what? What are we doing? Okay. We're going to take these two things and we're going to put it in here in replace of the oranges. Okay? So I'm going to, hopefully this moves. Is this going to move? There we go. I'm going to put that in replace of it up there. So now what does this say up here? How many apples are there? 3 apples equals 9. Like equals $9. How much is each apple? Divide by 3. 1 apple equals $3. Okay? So then, let's see here. Let me put these back. All right, if each apple is $3, right? 3 and 3, how much is 1 orange? The oranges are 6. So wait, let's see what this means. Look at this. What if I did this? X plus y equals 9. Okay? X plus y equals 9, right? These are the y's. The oranges are the y's. Y equals, how many x's are there right here? Didn't we say the apples are x's? 2x. Okay, so watch what we're doing. What was the first thing we did? We took these 2 apples and put them up there where the oranges were, right? So it says y is 2x. So I'm taking this, I'm substituting it in for the y. So I have, if I rewrite this, let me go over here. I kind of ran out of room here. Okay. If I take this, I've got x plus, instead of y, I'm putting the 2x up there, equals 9. That says 3x equals 9. That's what I have right there, right? 3a, 3x, same thing. Divide by 3. X equals 3. Now, if I take this equation, y equals 2x, x is 3, and put that in there. Y equals 2 times 3. Y equals 6. Isn't that what I just got right here? I've got some people drawing and coloring instead of doing the work. Okay, let's look at this for a second. I've got an equation that is in y equals form, and the other one is not. So let me just first show this with tiles without you drawing it out. I have y equals, let me draw a line for equals. Because you guys are going to have to, on your test, you're going to have to be able to do the first step in tiles. Okay, y equals x minus 2. Right? That's what the first equation says, right? The next one says 3x. Oh. Plus y equals 2. Okay. This is saying that 1y equals x minus 2, right here, right? So I'm going to take what the y equals and I'm going to put it in here for x. I'm sorry, and I'm going to put it in here for y. So down here where this y is, instead of this y, I'm going to take these and I'm going to put it down here in replace of the y. So I'm going to move the y out of there, and instead I'm going to put these down here. Okay, that doesn't want to be my friend. Okay, so I'm going to move this y out of there because I already used it. All right. So up here what I have 3x, right? That's the original 3x. And now I put, instead of y, I put the plus x minus 2. Isn't that what's down here? How many x's are there total? 4. 4x minus 2 equals, and on the other side is 2. From here, we should be able to solve for x. Add 2 to each side. 4x equals 4. Divide by 4. What does x equal? X equals 1. My solution, I have part of my answer, which is 1. You're going to choose this equation. You're going to bring it down. I'm going to try and do this in a minute without the tiles because I think it's confusing. I'm going to put the 1 in here for the x. I have y equals 1 minus 2. Y equals negative 1. My solution, the two lines intersect at 1, negative 1. Okay, let's forget about the tiles for a second. Again, if you're not paying attention, you're going to be lost on the next standard. Okay, first off, I've got my equation. Do I have one of my equations in y equals or x equals form? I do. I have x equals right here, right? Okay, so write down this problem on your board. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to circle what x equals. I'm going to circle this. Draw a line where you're going to substitute it in there for the x. Okay? Just like in a basketball game, when you substitute in for the game, like if x is in the ball game, and you're putting somebody in there for him, does that player get to stay in there? No, you got to take him out, right? So the x is coming out. So what I'm going to do, x comes out, and instead I'm putting in there 2y plus 2, and then write the rest of the equation. Plus 2y equals 6. Okay, so I just substituted it in. You should have this written down. Now let's solve for y. Let's put our y's together. How many y's do I have? I have 4 y's, right? Plus 2 equals 6. Subtract 2 from each side. 4y equals 4. Divide by 4. Y equals 1. Oop, where'd my 1 go? There we go. My solution is going to be where the two lines intersect. That's going to be an ordered pair where I have x and y. I already found y to be 1. So now I need to find the x. So I'm going to bring this equation down. X equals 2y plus 2. Okay, y is 1. So let's put that in here. I have x equals 2 times 1 plus 2. What's 2 times 1? 2. 2 plus 2. What's x equal? 4. It's okay to talk even if I'm videoing. There's my solution. 4, 1. All right, wipe off your boards. Let's try the next one. Write down this equation. I want you to look and see, do we have an equation that is in either x equals or y equals form? Yes, we do. We have an x equals right here. Circle what x equals. We are going to substitute it into the other equation for x. Okay, so this says x plus y equals 3. X comes out, and instead, I'm going to write y plus 1. So I have y plus 1, then write the rest of the equation. Plus y equals 3. Let's solve for y now. I have 2 y's. So I have 2y plus 1, and that equals 3. Subtract 1 from each side. I get 2y equals 2. Divide by 2. What does y equal? y equals 1. Now, most of the time in the past, remember our solution is x and y, most people can get this far and they can get the first one. But now this is where they get stuck. Remember that a solution, you must find the x and the y number. You can choose either equation. It doesn't matter which one. I always choose the one that is always x equals or y equals. So I'm going to bring this down, and I have x equals y plus 1. Well, we already found y to be 1, so we're going to put it in here for y. I have x equals, instead of y is 1, so I'll put 1 plus 1. What is 1 plus 1? 2. My solution, the two lines intersect at 2, 1. Huh? Which part? The second part? Okay. When you're trying to find the second part, you take one of the two equations. I don't care which one, right? So I brought this one down here. Okay, are we okay this part? Now, we already found y to be 1, right? So put 1 in there instead of y. That's going to be 1. And then just add those two numbers together. Okay, let's try it again. All right, wipe your boards off. Here's the next one. Okay. Once you write this down, I want you to find one of the equations. It's either an x equals or y equals, and I want you to circle that. This says x equals, so I'm going to circle it, and I'm going to put it in the other equation for x. So instead of x, what am I going to write there instead? 2 minus y. Now write the rest of this equation. Minus 2y equals negative 1. Okay? Now, put your y's together. How many y's do I have? No, this is a negative what? Negative 1y, negative 2y's. You have negative 3y. This 2 is just a plus 2 equals negative 1. Now let's solve for y from here. Subtract 2 from each side. Negative 3y equals negative 3. Divide by negative 3. Y equals 1. Okay, so there's part of my solution. I need to find x now. Okay, so let's look, because this is where people get confused. Choose one of the two equations. I don't care which one, but see how this one's already in, it says x equals? I always have the one that's either x equals or y equals. Now take this equation and write it down here. So I'm going to bring it down here. All right, x equals 2 minus y. Okay? Didn't we already find out what y equals? Y equals 1, right? So instead of y right here, we're going to take this number and put it in there. So y is going to go away, and instead I'm going to put a 1. What is 2 minus 1? 1. X equals 1. My solution where the two lines intersect is 1, 1. Erase your boards. Here's the next one. Write this down. Okay. All right. Is one of my equations in x equals or y equals form? Yes, it is. So this says y equals 3x. So I'm going to circle that. I'm going to put it into the top equation for y. Well, it says x plus, so I'm going to put x plus. Instead of y, what goes in there instead? 3x equals 4. All right, well, let's solve for x. How many x's do I have? Well, there's two x's, but there's a 1x and a 3x. That's 4x equals 4. Divide by 4. X equals 1. My solution, remember x and y. We found x to be 1. Now I need to find y. Okay. I like choosing the one that's already in y equals or x equals form. You don't have to. You can choose the other one. I'm going to bring this down here. I'm going to write y equals 3x, 3 times x. What did we find x to be? 1. Put this in here. Well, this says 3 times x. X is 1. What's 3 times 1? 3. Y equals 3. Okay. Next one. Try this one. Write the problem down. Do we have one of the equations that's in x equals or y equals form? Yes, we do. So I'm going to circle it, and I'm going to substitute it in here for y. How come I'm not putting it in for x? It says y equals. And if it said x equals, you put it in for x. Okay? So now I have this next equation. I have 2x plus y. Well, instead of y, we're putting in there x plus 2. And that equals 5. You have to do this whole equation right here. All you're doing is replacing the x. All right, now, solve for x now. I have 2x and 1x. That's 3x plus 2, and it equals 5. Solve from here. Subtract 2 from each side. 3x equals 3. You're going to divide by 3. X equals 1. My solution, I have my x number, but you're not done. You need the y. Doesn't matter which one you choose. Remember, I'm going up here and I'm choosing the one that's in y equals or x equals form. That one right there. Bring this down. Y equals x plus 2. Okay. What did we just find x to be? X is 1. Put it in here for x. So I get y equals 1 plus 2. Well, what's 1 plus 2? 3. There's my solution. It crosses at 1, 3. Here's the next one. Write down the problem. That means both equations. Write it down. Follow along with what I'm doing. You will definitely be confused if you sit there and you do not try and do this step by step with me. Is one of the equations in x equals or y equals form? Yes, it is. This one says y equals. So circle what y equals. We are going to substitute it in here for y. Uh-oh. On this one, we have a number in front of the y, so we better be careful on what we're about to do. I'm going to write down the negative x plus, this says 3 times y, so I have 3 times, what is y? X plus 7. Look what I did. I put it in parentheses because we're going to have to do the distributive property. Equals 11. All right, so now, negative x just comes down here. You take 3 times x and 3 times 7. So 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 7 is 21. That equals 11. Well, now put your x's together. This is negative 1x. Negative 1 plus 3 is 2x, and then you just bring down the plus 21, equals 11. Now I'm going to subtract 21 from each side. I get 2x equals negative 10. Divide by 2. X equals negative 5. My solution, the x number is negative 5. I need to find the y number. Here's my y. Okay, well, I'm going to bring this down here. Y equals x plus 7. We found x to be negative 5. So I'm going to put that in there for x. I have y equals, instead of x, you put in there negative 5 plus 7. What is negative 5 plus 7? 2. My solution is negative 5, 2. There's the next one. Write down the next problem. Now you're looking to see, is there an equation that is in x equals or y equals form? Yes, there is, right here. So let's circle what x equals. Whoops, made that little short there. There we go. I'm going to substitute it in there for x. So I have 4 times x. Well, instead of x, I'm putting, or 4x, I'm putting in there y plus 2. Don't forget to write the rest of this equation. Minus y equals negative 4. Well, when you have parentheses, remember you have to do the distributive property. 4 times y, 4y. 4 times 2, 8. Bring down. Do I multiply that 4 by the negative y? Is it inside the parentheses? Now it's on the outside, so you just bring it down. And that equals negative 4. Now put your y's together. I get, let me see here, I'm going to erase that stray mark. 4 minus 1 is 3y plus 8 equals negative 4. Now solve this. Subtract 8. 3y equals negative 12. Divide by 3. Y equals negative 4. So my solution, negative 4 is the y number. I need to find the x. Well, up here, I've got one that's already in x equals form. So I'm going to bring this down and rewrite it. X plus y. Oh, that's not x plus y. What am I saying? X equals y plus 2. Now, y is negative 4. So I'm going to take this and put negative 4 in there for y. So I get x equals negative 4 plus 2. X equals negative 2. Number 9. Write down this problem. Circle what x or y equals. And let's go and try and substitute this in. Okay, well, y equals 2x plus 1, so I'm going to circle 2x plus 1. That's what y equals, so I'm putting it in here for y. Rewrite the equation. 3x plus 2 times y. Well, instead of y, what am I putting in there for it? 2x plus 1, yep. And that equals 9. Okay, so all I did was I rewrote that bottom equation and put in, instead of y, I put in there 2x plus 1. Now, we have to do the distributive property, but is this 3x? Is it next to the parentheses? No. So I'm just going to bring down this 3x, and now I do the distributive property. 2 times 2x, 4x, 2 times 1, 2, and that equals 9. Put your x's together. 7x plus 2 equals 9. Now solve for x. Subtract 2 from each side. 7x equals 7. Divide by 7. X equals 1. My solution, x is 1. Okay, so right here, I'm going to bring this down. I have y equals 2x plus 1. Well, we just found x to be 1, so you're going to take that and put it in there for the x. So I have y equals 2 times, instead of x, I put a 1 in there, plus 1. What is 2 times 1? 2. 2 plus 1, so y equals 3. The two lines intersect at 1, 3. Erase your boards. Here's number 10. So you want to write this down, and we're trying to find our solution, our x and our y. You need to circle what x equals. And I'm going to put it right here in for x. So it says 3 times x. So I'm going to have 3 times, instead of x, I'm going to put y minus 2 plus y equals 2. Well, what do I need to do? I need to do the distributive property. 3 times y, 3y, 3 times negative 2, negative 6. Now, is this y inside the parentheses? No, so I'm just going to bring it down. Okay. Now, put your y's together. How many do you have? Stop telling me 2. I have 3y and 1y. That is 4y minus 6 is 2. I add 6 to each side. 4y equals 8. Divide by 4. What does y equal? Y equals 2. Okay, but I need to find the x. Take this equation here that already says x equals. Oh, let's see, I'll use blue. All right, bring that over here. X equals y minus 2. Y is 2, so I'm going to put it in here for y. X equals, y is 2, so I have 2, minus 2. What is 2 minus 2? It is 0. Your solution is 0, 2. Here's the next one. Erase your boards. Write down this problem. Remember, we're looking for our solution. That's where the two lines intersect. I want you to have, one of the problems is already in y equals form, so I want you to circle what y equals, and let's substitute this in for y. Circle this. This is what's going in here for y. I get negative 2x minus 7 times y. Instead of y, what are we putting in there? Negative 2x minus 2. and that equals 2. Well, this 2x just comes, negative 2x comes down here. Multiply these. I have positive 14x. Negative 7 times negative 2 is positive 14 equals 2. Put your x's together. I get 12x plus 14, and it equals 2. Subtract 14 from each side. 12x equals negative, equals negative 12. Divide by 12. X equals negative 1. Well, now I need to find my y. Here's my equation in y equals form right here. So I'm going to write y equals negative 2x minus 2. X is negative 1, so we're going to put that in here for x. I get y equals negative 2 times negative 1 minus 2. Y equals negative 2 times negative 1, positive 2, minus 2. Y equals 0.